Super 4 H historians will keep records of what happened with their club throughout the year. They develop superpowers of collecting photos and information and then putting it in a book for future members to see. So, what does a historian do? Well, as a historian, you will keep a record of the club's accomplishments and activities for the year. You will collect items such as pictures and news clippings about the club and its members, and you will organize a scrapbook to tell the club's story for the year. You will also try to make the scrapbook meaningful to members and future members. And you make the book compact but complete by including items only if they involve the club directly or members of the club. So, some things to think about as you're making your historian book. So, the cover of the historian's book should be durable so it'll last several years. Pages need to be securely fastened in the book. Items entered in the book should be in good condition and fastened securely. The historian's book tells the story of the club for that year. The following is a list of items that would be helpful in telling your story. Be sure to include any additional items your club feels that are important. So you'll want a title page with the club name, the year, and your name. You'll want a group member, officers, and leaders. So photos and names of the group. You'll want a photocopy of your club's charter. You want to include any clippings of club activities or member activities from the newspaper. You also want to include pictures. You also want to include your goal setting for the club recognition form if used. Ribbons, but only if a group awards, so only if your club has earned them, so like your club booth, hay bale, banner, any of those things. You'll want to make sure you do any special correspondence. You can also include the secretary's book and the treasurer's book to keep a record as well. And you can write a story about what happened throughout the year to include it in the historian's book. The historian's book should be accurate and neat. So, a little bit of information for historian. As you're putting the book together, and I would suggest you put the book together not waiting at the end, but throughout the year. So start at this meeting, with officers, start getting it ready to go. We want to talk about some examples for your historians. So a correctly labeled picture. Be sure to include last names when labeling pictures and using exact dates. If using digital pictures, be sure to print them on photo quality paper so they will stay clear longer. A paragraph, and as you can see there, they have John Jones won a ribbon at the county fair. He said it was fun to learn to care for his dog and train it for the dog show at the fair. A paragraph describing something that happened. Family Fun Night was a special activity our club hosted May 13, 2022 at the city park. Each member invited his or her family to a potluck meal followed by games and activities, or fun and games. We wanted each of our family members to feel like a part of our 4-H club. So you want to make sure you include details and make sure that it is clear. You don't want it to be long, but it does need to be have those details like dates, times, who attended, those type of things. All right, so your club's history is important. It is important that current club members understand not only how 4-H came to be, but how your club originated. As historian, it is a good idea to present your club's history. The historian book is important because future generations of 4-Hers will want to see what the club's former members participated in and how 4-H has changed. I know personally, I always like to see, I have photos of my father as in what they called the best dressed boy at that time. It's now Fashion Review. So I have him. I also have pictures of him showing beef. And it's amazing how different the cattle have been since from me showing and him showing beef. So those are just some kind of things that you kind of want to look for. And that's kind of my family history, but it could be in your club history as well. In order to make the historian book interesting, you can use scrapbook techniques and materials found from your local craft store. The sample shows a picture of a club member and has a description of some important events. So as you can see, they put a first place thing, ribbon there, and that's just a clip art, but however you want to do it. And then Sydney Smith shows her bucket calf at the county fair. Several club members exhibited livestock at the fair. And then you can kind of talk about what happened at the fair for your club. So blue ribbons were abundant in 2021 as all 34 members of the Plover Clan 4-H Club exhibited at the county fair. The 56th fair, which was held from June 20th to June 25th, was the first in which all members of the club exhibited. In addition, member Karen Brown was crowned Fair Queen. She's the first club member to win this honor since 1995. So that kind of gives you an idea. You can be creative. And the other thing is, it doesn't necessarily have to be a scrapbook. You can do a digital scrapbook. You can have a book printed from like Shutterfly and other things like that. That's not a thing, but yeah, it's up to you to do it, but it is important. And it's good to share maybe some of the things you're doing throughout the year. So, if you get a page done, maybe share it with a historian report at the meeting to say, hey, this is what I've done for this activity that we did. And, that helps other members understand what your job is and also know what's going on in their club. So, by serving in the office of 4-H historian, you will be developing your 4-H superpower of celebrating club achievements and activities for future club members. By doing this, you can become your club's historian superhero.